It's showtime for Badr Hari. Ward tries to dethrone the king, and will Chandler silence the pit bull? This is Fight Network's preview show.
And make sure your head is clear, because if not, I will take it off.
Hey everybody, it's John Pollock with you. We have a loaded edition of our preview show coming at you, including a look at TNA Sacrifice with Jimmy Corderas stopping by. We'll also preview Bellator 44. Boxing analyst Corey Erdman is here as we break down Andre Ward and Arthur Abraham in the semifinals of the Boxing Super 6 Classic. And we're going to start things off, though, with kickboxing action. It's Showtime is coming from France this coming Saturday, right here on the Fight Network.
It's Showtime invades Lyon, France for a night of world-class combat featuring the best kickboxers on the planet. Former K1 heavyweight champion Badr Hari returns to action for the first time in a year when he meets dangerous super heavyweight Gregory Tony in what promises to be an exciting stand-up battle.
Oh, a beautiful right uppercut! That was an absolute perfect shot, and it is good night Prague. There's no need to count.
The French fighter Tony has defeated a number of the sport's premier competitors, including Alexei Ignashov, Errol Zimmerman, and a KO victory over leg kick specialist Daniel Guida. Tony last tasted defeat in 2007 and would love to take out the controversial bad boy by using his hands and look for the KO. His 26-year-old opponent is known as a loose cannon and sometimes lets emotion get the best of him. In 2008, the Moroccan was disqualified in the final bout of the K1 World Grand Prix tournament when he attacked the downed Remy Bunyaski, the eventual tournament victor.
Uppercut from the bad boy! Remy Bunyaski forced to backtrack, they spilled to the canvas. Oh, Badr Hari, what's going on? What's going on? Ivan Hippolyte having to be restrained ringside here.
Last year, the Mike's gym pupil was again disqualified when he kicked it down Hedzi Gerges, losing the heavyweight championship in the process.
Punch after punch landing. Badr Hari's on the back foot, isn't he?
Certainly is. A great shot there from him, though. No! That was out of order! That was banned out of order! The crowd justifiably so boo!
Hari is an aggressive tactician who holds 62 KO wins under his belt, and fans will expect a stellar performance from the combustible youngster. Hari is one of the heavyweight division's most lethal strikers, stopping many of the sport's most accomplished athletes. Included on that list is multiple-time K1 champion Sammy Schilt, Dutch legend Peter Arts, Turkish slugger Gökhan Saki, and Strikeforce and K1 champion Alistair Overeem.
Badr goes to the body! Uppercut! There's the right hand! Oh, it's over! It's over!
Romanian powerhouse Daniel Guida looks to rebound from back-to-back losses when he's paired with Brazilian Anderson Silva. No, not that one. The 30-year-old Guida is known primarily for his punishing leg attacks that paralyze his opponents and their mobility. If Guida can use his improved striking to set up his low kicks, it could be a long night for the Peter Arts-trained Silva.
Just crashes through the double forearm. Zimmerman gets tagged! Zimmerman gets tagged! The big kibosh! It's over! It's over! It's over! Yes, Guida! Yes, Guida!
The 24-year-old kickboxer now fighting out of Holland will be facing one of the biggest tests in his career when he faces Guida. With a victory, sky's the limit for the 29-5-1 fighter. One of combat sports' most talented fighters will have an opportunity to showcase his incredible skill set when Italy's Giorgio Petrosian takes on 22-year-old Moroccan fighter Chahid Walad Al-Hajj. The 2009 and 2010 K1 Max champion Petrosian has dazzled audiences with his near-picture-perfect style, a solid blend of offense and intelligent defense. Over the course of 70-plus professional bouts, the 25-year-old has dispatched many former champions at the top of their game and will look to take out the pitbull, extending his winning streak to 29.
Great shots going in! Giorgio Petrosian looking a bit worse for wear. Should have been a count there!
Also on the card, 2 world title fights take place as the African warrior Chris Nagimbi challenges Willie Borrell for the 70-kilogram max belt. Tyrone Spong also returns to the ring when he meets Croatian's Igor Mihalovic in a heavyweight matchup. These fights and much, much more live at 4 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, May 14th, right here on the Fight Network. You don't want to miss it.
We are down to the final 4 of the Super 6 Boxing Classic, and this coming Saturday night, Carson City will host the first semifinals as King Arthur Abraham will look to try and make it to the finals when he takes on #1 seed Andre Ward.
23-0 Olympic gold medalist and WBA super middleweight champion Andre Ward heads into the semifinals of the Super 6 Boxing Classic as the #1 seed this Saturday against 4th seed Arthur Abraham, who comes into Carson City with a record of 32-2, with both losses coming in the tournament as he lost to Andre Durrell and Carl Froch. The winner of this bout will fight the winner of Froch and Glenn Johnson later this year. The Super 6 World Boxing Classic was an effort to settle the dispute of who is the top 168-pound boxer in the world. And despite a litany of injuries, forfeits, and threats to withdraw, the arduous tournament looks ahead to the semifinals, which begin this weekend as the #1 seed Andre Ward will meet the 4th seed King Arthur Abraham. Ward came into the tournament an Olympic gold medalist at the 2004 Athens Games, but despite an undefeated mark, he had not fought top competition and had the label of potential thrown at him as often as he was throwing jabs and hooks to prove the label accurate. Abraham conversely was pointed to as the man that dominated the middleweight pack and needed a new challenge, and moving up in weight represented that challenge. Abraham had no one disputing his nickname after entering the ring in October of 2009 and knocking out Jermaine Taylor to start the tournament, securing 2 points for the win and an extra point for the knockout stoppage. While Abraham went in and met expectations, it was Andre Ward who checked his potential at the door of the Oracle Arena in Oakland and earned decision victories over Mikkel Kessler and Alan Green, leaving the arena with the label of WBA Super Middleweight Champion. Now all of a sudden the stage is set for this Saturday in Carson, California, where it will be the king fighting for the crown. A win will produce a berth in the Super 6 finals, the WBA gold, and most importantly, a return to the win column after facing the first 2 losses of his career in this same tournament. For Ward, this is the fight that will solidify his status as one of the top 168-pound boxers in the world, and the chance to fight the winner of Carl Froch and Glenn Johnson, who do battle in June. Ward is a huge favorite amongst odds makers heading into this fight, with the power of Abraham being his saving grace should Ward not be able to cut off space and leave himself open for Abraham's power game.
Oh, he popped him! Abraham showing some powerful punches.
Ward is relentless and will be strong for 12 rounds, making him the toughest test for Abraham up to this point of his super middleweight career. A new king could be crowned in Carson, California, with Andre Ward 2 wins away from his coronation ceremony.
We're down to the Super 6 Boxing Classic's Final 4 here, Corey. #1 seed Andre Ward, he's going to be taking on 4th seed Arthur Abraham this coming Saturday night. An interesting tournament, to say the least, for King Arthur Abraham, coming up in weight here to 168 pounds and yielding the first 2 losses of his career.
Arguably, no one's stock has dropped more in boxing since the beginning of this tournament than Arthur Abraham's. I mean, coming into this tournament, John, King Arthur Abraham was talked about as a favorite in this tournament. Even though he was coming up in middleweight, everyone presumed he'd have that knockout power. But even during that Jermaine Taylor fight, the first fight of the Super 6, save for the knockout in the final round, Arthur Abraham could have been losing that fight. And really, we found out that Arthur Abraham does not carry the weight very well and doesn't have destructive power at super middleweight either. And he's been utterly outclassed in both of his 2 fights since the Jermaine Taylor fight, save for that disqualification against Andre Durrell. We really haven't seen Arthur Abraham land anything of significance since the first round.
And I think no one would have assumed that if we were coming down to Andre Ward and Arthur Abraham, Andre Ward going into this a significant favorite. And I mean, his stock has just gone through the roof here in this tournament, in my opinion.
Ward is the complete opposite. Coming into this tournament, we wondered if that fight against Edison Miranda was enough to make him competitive with the other top super middleweights in the world. And it turned out that Andre Ward, he just has all the tools. He can fight in any manner he wants. He can fight on the inside. We saw in the Miranda fight that he can box a little on the outside. And I think the key is that in the last fight, he didn't take a cheesy tune-up fight. He fought Sakio Bika, who's arguably a top 6 super middleweight in his own right, even though he's not in the tournament. And he fought a guy, John, who has knockout power, and he's probably more powerful than Arthur Abraham. So that, to me, is the key, because I know he can avoid a man with knockout power, and that, I think, is going to be all he has to worry about against Arthur Abraham.
Do you foresee Abraham being able to create that distance at all? Because really, it comes down to the power game for Abraham as kind of his Hail Mary in this fight.
Yeah, Abraham has really showed that he's absolutely helpless on the inside. He doesn't want to throw unless there's distance, and Andre Ward isn't going to give you any distance. We saw what Andre Ward can do against a guy who doesn't punch because we watched him against Alan Green. Alan Green did nothing, and Andre Ward was on top of him and just gave him no room to breathe. And I anticipate him doing the same thing against Arthur Abraham.
So whose ticket is going to get punched to the finals?
I imagine, John, I would be shocked if Arthur Abraham throws more than 100 punches or lands more than 30 punches in this fight. I see Andre Ward boxing his way to a very comfortable, probably shutout decision in Carson, California on Saturday night.
In a heavyweight tilt on the undercard of Ward Abraham, 30-2 Chris Arreola returns to action as the Los Angeles native will meet 16-5 Nagy Aguilera. Aguilera is hoping to bounce back after losses to Maurice Harris and Antonio Tarver, but will have his hands full with one of the emerging heavyweights in the sport. We'll take a short break, but when we come back, we'll take a look at Bellator 44 this weekend, featuring the finals of the lightweight tournament.
I love you, Bellator!
Bellator 44 is coming at you this weekend from Atlantic City, New Jersey, and you're going to see the finals of the lightweight tournament, and we're also going to see a non-title main event featuring middleweight champ Hector Lombard.
Hector Shanga Lombard!
Oh, good left hand! The edge is there! Inside is it!
Trimman down, and is in all sorts of trouble, and there's the stoppage!
A November 2006 loss to Gegard Musashi was the last time Bellator middleweight champion Hector Lombard tasted defeat. Since then, the American top team standout has gone on a 21-fight unbeaten streak, winning the Bellator middleweight tournament and subsequently claiming the 185-pound title. While the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt waits for the winner of next season's middleweight tournament, the Cuban-Australian is paired with UFC veteran Nico Vitale. The native of Honolulu, Hawaii is currently riding a 3-fight win streak and will undoubtedly look to get the takedown in hopes of submitting the dominant title holder. Also a judo black belt, Lombard is crafty on the ground, but will likely keep this fight standing as he looks to add another knockout to his highlight reel.
I love you, Bellator!
The lightweight tournament finals highlight the night's co-feature as unbeaten Extreme Couture student Michael Chandler takes on Team Nogueira product Patrick Freite. The Brazilian knockout artist has steamrolled through the competition, taking out former WEC champion Razor Rob McCullough in the first round.
Beautiful shot, drops Rob McCullough!
And two-time tournament finalist Toby Amada in the semifinals.
Fighter. Oh, big knee! Imani is hurt! He's not trouble, he's done!
The former NCAA Division I wrestler Chandler will want to keep Freite at bay, neutralizing the BJJ black belt with his wrestling.
God put me on this earth to win a world title, and I'm doing everything I can possibly do to achieve that.
And the win for Michael Chandler!
And I tell people all the time I'm living a dream, you know, getting punched and kicked in the face and get paid for it.
First round TKO win for Michael Chandler.
It's a challenging task for Chandler because the 25-year-old prodigy Freite is dangerous anywhere the fight goes. Also on the card, Season 2 middleweight tournament winner Alexander Shlemenko goes to war with Affliction veteran Brett Cooper. Both fighters are solid on the feet, but expect Shlemenko to implement his unorthodox style and make use of his flashy kicks and spinning back fists as he targets the knockout. Bellator 44 emanates from the Caesars Atlantic City Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey, and it all goes down this Saturday night on MTV2.
Ringside is going to be coming at you this Saturday night from Montreal, Quebec, as they present Rising Stars 3 from the venerable Club Soda.
On Saturday, May 14th, Ringside MMA presents Rising Stars 3 from Club Soda in downtown Montreal. Ringside has quickly become the fastest growing mixed martial arts promotion in Quebec and is considered by many to be Canada's top MMA promotion, with a solid stable of fighters that include Patrick Cote, Alex Garcia, Chris Clements, Mike Ricci, and Guillaume De Lorenzi. Rising Stars gives young fighters a platform to shine while climbing the MMA ranks. A number of competitors from Ringside would go on to fight in the UFC, such as John McDessie, Sean Pearson, and Dustin the Diamond Poirier, the subject of the 2011 documentary Fightville. Headlining the card is heavyweight Zahabi MMA standout Leonard Terrence, who is the owner of one of the top knockouts of 2011.
Do not let the physique fool you! Out of nowhere!
Tune in to see some of the sports stars of tomorrow today at Ringside Rising Stars 3, live at Club Soda Saturday the 14th in Montreal. Be there or be square.
Don't go anywhere, as Jimmy Corderas will join us on the other side as we preview the TNA Sacrifice pay-per-view set for Orlando, Florida, Sunday night.
He comes back, and before anyone even knows he's back, he's already wearing my belt.
We'll now shift things over to the world of professional wrestling because this coming weekend, TNA Wrestling has another pay-per-view headlined by a very interesting main event.
This Sunday night, TNA Wrestling returns to pay-per-view with Sacrifice, taking place from the Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida. The card will be headlined by TNA champion Sting defending the gold against Rob Van Dam in a rare TNA pay-per-view main event announced weeks in advance.
You can expect me to be at my best. You can expect me to prevail. I'm going to dish out what I always have.
On paper, this is a questionable match in the ring, as Sting has a very well-documented shoulder injury that he's been working through for the past couple of months and has severely limited his in-ring work since returning to the company back in February.
The only way you're going to win this world title is over my dead body.
I'm fired up! It's going to be showtime at Lockdown, and you're not taking any belt, and I know that pisses you off.
Van Dam is best suited when in the ring with an opponent that can accentuate his style, and Sting is not that guy, as these two will have their work cut out for themselves to close the show on Sunday night. On the final edition of Impact heading into the pay-per-view, they position Mr. Anderson as the #1 contender by winning a Battle Royal and will theoretically challenge the winner of Sting and Van Dam for the title at the promotion's June pay-per-view, Slammiversary.
The title! The title! The title!
With under a week until Sacrifice, the company has only officially announced 3 matches, with Mickie James defending her TNA Knockouts Championship against Madison Rayne, and Chris Harris returns to team with Matt Hardy as they challenge Tag Team Champions Beer Money Incorporated. Sacrifice goes down this Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on pay-per-view.
2 months ago, he returned to recapture the TNA World Heavyweight Championship.
Him to be called the face of TNA wrestling is spitting in my face.
Honestly, yeah, he definitely has what it takes.
Sting, obviously, he still got it.
Very few that I respect more, and I'm happy to see Sting back.
Sting knows that he doesn't want to face me.
Which TNA star is willing to sacrifice everything to end the icon Sting's reign once and for all? TNA presents Sacrifice, live Sunday, May 15th, only on pay-per-view.
Jimmy Corderas is along as we look ahead to TNA Sacrifice coming up this weekend in Orlando, Florida, and it's going to be headlined, Jimmy, by Sting defending the gold against Rob Van Dam. Sting is injured. Rob Van Dam extremely awkward when he's in the ring with Sting, so this should be a hell of a main event.
Well, the thing I'm fearing here is overbooking, and wow, TNA and overbooking.
What?
Yeah, what a shock. I'm assuming Hulk Hogan and Mr. Anderson will get involved somehow. I'm just... Again, not looking forward to this main event.
It seems that they've been teasing Sting and Anderson for quite some time. Anderson is the #1 contender going into this show, so presumably I'm thinking Sting Anderson in June.
Yeah, and again, it looks like they're building towards another Sting-Hulk Hogan matchup, so I don't know how many people will be interested in seeing that.
Got to check my calendar on that one. Plus, we're going to see Kurt Angle teaming up with China. Yes, Joni Lauer, everybody. A full 10 years since her last WWE match. They're going to be taking on the Jarretts. I predict horrendous.
That would be a good guess, in my opinion. I hope they use China the right way and just make it like a one-off or possibly 2 appearances, nothing more than that. And then hopefully we get back to some good Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett matches.
I don't understand the need for China at all. Right
no,
now.
not at all.
We also are going to see on this card Matt Hardy teaming up with the returning Chris Harris, and they are going to challenge Beer Money for the Tag Team Championships. Beer Money, they seem to be really pushing Robert Roode right now, and it seems that an eventual split between TNA's top tag team.
Yeah, it looks that way, and bringing back Chris Harris, bringing back Chris Harris might see a reforming of James Storm and America's Most Wanted. It looks like that's where they're going, and Bobby Roode has been fantastic. I think his mic work lately has been great. Him and Bully Ray have been the 2 guys that have been shining really, really strong for TNA right now, and I can see a big singles future for Bobby Roode right now.
And we'll also chat quickly, AJ Styles taking on the now heel Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah, where did that, again, here we go, TNA, just let's turn someone heel for the sake of turning him heel. No logic, no psychology behind it, but that'll be an interesting match.
It would make sense AJ goes over here and then you get the Bully Ray match in June. That's what I would assume, which likely means we're going to get a Tommy Dreamer victory on Sunday.
Most likely.
TNA Sacrifice coming up this Sunday on pay-per-view, and that's all the time we've got. Big thank you to Corey Erdman as well as Jimmy Corderas for joining us. All of the action is taking place this weekend on behalf of our friends here at the Ballroom in downtown Toronto, our Fight Network staff. I'm John Pollock. Have a great week.
Did I hear you say that RVD was mediocre? At best. I heard you say that RVD was not a main eventer. You know, that's got to be hard for everybody in this building to digest, because guess what? He will be in the main event for the world title against me at Sacrifice.
This segment on the Fight Network is brought to you by The Ballroom, downtown Toronto's newest interactive entertainment center.